Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We're excited to talk about something interesting today. So, we do have a new face here joining us. Could you introduce yourself and maybe your role at KFAM?
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. I'm a substance use prevention coordinator here at KFAM, and I'm part of the SAPC team.
Yeah, could you remind everyone, if you don't remember, we've had previous SAPC teams join us, but if you could just remind everyone, what do you do in SAPC? Or maybe the full
The-
name instead of the
ah,
abbreviation.
okay, yeah. So SAPC stands for Substance Abuse Prevention and Control. And I guess we do a lot of things, but I guess the biggest thing is we provide like life skills training
Mm.
to middle schoolers, high schoolers, and parents. And we'll do workshops on like navigating social media, managing emotions. And then the goal is kind of to like equip students with the tools and skills necessary to make healthy decisions and to not give in to peer pressure.
Sounds good.
Hmm.
So, you might have seen from our title, you're like, what are they going to talk about? I promise it will come full circle later. But before we get into that, again, if you have any questions, comments, please feel free to put that in the chat and we'll get to it. But so, what are we talking about today, Sarah?
We are talking about Kratom and 7-OH. So this is an emerging drug in LA County, and there have been lots of deaths, but many people haven't heard of it.
Yeah, I have actually never heard of it either. This was the first time I've heard of it when we started talking about it. So, what is it exactly?
Yeah, so kratom is a tree that's native to Southeast Asia, so countries like Indonesia and
Mm.
Thailand. The scientific name is Mitragynine speciosa.
Okay, not gonna remember that.
But that's important because you kind of will see that on like products.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
And so kratom is used to refer to the tree and the leaves. And what we see is the leaves get kind of like crushed and like ground into a fine powder. And then that's put into like capsules and tablets and drinks.
Mm.
Yeah, and the name comes from like the point of this leaf. It looks
Mhm.
like a mitre hat that bishops wear. So
Yeah,
helpful mnemonic.
yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so but then why is this considered dangerous and why should we be on the lookout?
Yeah, so I guess the real issue is 7-OH.
Mhm.
So kratom has two chemical components.
Okay,
So there's 7-OH and then there's mitragynine.
okay.
And 7-OH is like a really strong opioid. It's about like 13 times stronger than morphine.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah, I was in a bad car accident a long, long time ago, and I was put on morphine.
Mm.
Man, that stuff is strong,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
it'll knock you out. But 13 times stronger than that, I can't even imagine. Wow. Okay.
yeah.
So then, why isn't it considered illegal if it's that strong?
Yeah, so I guess that really comes down to like regulation.
Mm.
So there's arguments for it like on both sides, pros and cons.
Mhm.
So that can kind of like slow things down a little bit.
Mhm.
And then the other piece is like 7-OH is unique in that at lower doses, it acts like a stimulant. So it
Oh.
gives you like energy and alertness. And then at higher doses, that's when it kind of like acts like an opioid.
Oh, so it's more dangerous as the dosage
Yeah.
goes up. So then, is it okay to consume in smaller doses?
So I think that's kind of like a common misconception that people think at lower doses it is safe.
Mm.
But because there's a lack of regulation, the products that we're seeing on the market here
Mhm.
oftentimes are contaminated
Mhm.
with like metals, bacteria, things that you don't want in your body.
Mhm.
So if you're looking for like that like energy and that kick,
Mhm.
it's better to just like choose safer alternatives that are out there.
Mm.
And LA County has a warning out right now to stay away from kratom.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So then it sounds like the 7-OH component of it is really potent,
Mm.
but if it's only found in like small trace amounts in leaves, why is kratom and 7-OH a drug of interest to LA County specific?
So I guess that's the big question.
Okay.
So there's three parts to that answer. So the first is like on the market, we're seeing a lot of synthetic 7-OH products.
Mm.
So labs are like creating 7-OH and
Mhm.
then creating like a really concentrated extract.
Mhm.
That's the first part. The second part is then there's all these like marketing traps.
Mm.
So sometimes it can be misleading.
Mhm.
And we have a picture here of some products.
Mhm.
So you're seeing things like, oh, it's an herbal supplement. Oh,
Mm.
it's like natural wellness. It gives you like energy.
Mhm.
It makes all these promises, but it's actually an opioid.
Mm.
And then sometimes we're seeing like false, like just fake information on the bottles, like
Mm.
fake milligrams, fake
Mhm.
ingredients, or they're omitting ingredients.
Mm.
And then the last piece is that it's really widely available. So
Mm.
you can get them at like liquor stores, gas stations, online. Not that
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
recommending.
yeah. So that's where the title comes in. But I'm like, that is highly suspicious. If you're buying natural remedies from a gas station, that's very sus.
So true, so
Because
true.
I'm not like, oh, I want to get a natural remedy. I'll go to my local gas
We
station. That's
literally,
really
yeah.
weird. So
True.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so then if but let's say people do want to purchase like a natural remedy or supplement, what should they be keeping an eye out for then?
Honestly, when we first talked about this,
Mm-hmm.
so many things are going through my mind
Mm.
because I think a lot of like Eastern, like Asian culture,
Mm-hmm.
we use a lot of like traditional medicine, right?
Mm-mm.
It's like kind of rooted in our culture.
Right, right.
But then Western medicine is like almost pushing back on that
Yeah.
because it's not like scientifically backed or there's like a lot of the effects are like anecdotal almost.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess generally just some things to keep in mind is that the FDA sees herbal supplements as like food and not medicine. So
Mm.
it's not as like strictly regulated and then you can't be sure of like consistency between batches.
Mm.
So I guess number one is just to do a lot of research into what you want to buy,
Mm.
to talk to like an expert, and
Mm-hmm.
then also to make sure you know like where it's coming from, like
Mm.
where is it sourced from.
Yeah, that's very alarming
Yeah.
that it's not regulated like that. So
True.
you mentioned that it's not illegal federally,
Mm.
but what about in California then?
Yeah. So in California, the manufacturing and the selling of kratom is illegal.
Mm.
I think that's kind of to like decriminalize the use of kratom.
Interesting.
But governments are cracking down now.
Mm-hmm.
So the last time we went to like liquor stores and gas stations to check it out, we saw
Mm-hmm.
it like we walked in and it was like all there, like so many
Really?
products.
Mm-hmm.
But we've heard from colleagues that they're like kind of cracking down on it.
Mm.
So like signage is removed from storefronts.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. So then it sounds like the issue is the lack of regulation is the main issue, it sounds like. There's probably, and like you mentioned, like the marketing and, just really easy access. So then all of that combined doesn't sound like a great
No,
situation.
no.
So then how have Kratom and 7OH products affected LA County
Yeah.
specifically?
That's a good question. So in LA County, there have been 8 deaths due to kratom.
Mm.
And then there was a study done in 2021 where they
Mm-hmm.
like surveyed all kratom usage,
Mm.
and they found that about 2 million Americans age 12 and older are using kratom. But I'm pretty sure the number is higher now because like it's like gotten a lot trendier and like
Yeah, I mean,
more
that's
accessible.
crazy. Yeah, but I mean, I will say, let's be honest. I mean, 8 deaths in LA County where we're housing like millions of people. It
Yeah.
doesn't sound like a lot when you compare it to like the deaths of other
Driving or
substances,
yeah,
right? Like
substances.
alcohol or even fentanyl. So then why is like LA County like specifically calling this an emerging like substance?
Yeah. So I guess looking at the magnitude of the number, like 8 doesn't seem like a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but these are cases where number one, it was only kratom in their body. Like there were no other
Mm.
substances, like there wasn't like mixing,
Mm.
or like they call it polysubstance use.
Mm-hmm.
And then number two, there were no other like medical causes. So I guess these are kind of like warning signs, like warning
Mhm,
bells.
mhm,
Like if we don't do something about it now,
mhm.
we
It could
could
get
have like
worse.
another wave
Right,
on our hands.
right.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Also, so you actually mentioned that some of the surveys that were taken they were seeing kids as young as 12 years old, like taking this.
Yeah.
That is crazy. That seems really young.
Mhm.
What could 12-year-olds possibly be taking this for? Like, why would they want a natural remedy or herbal, supplement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you said, the survey did capture people as young as 12. It doesn't mean that there's a lot of 12-year-olds using,
Mm.
But a lot of times we're seeing younger folks are turning to Kratom to like self-treat anxiety.
Interesting.
Oftentimes the packaging, like you can see here, is like really colorful,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be like appealing to the younger audiences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then this looks like it's like gambling, like Lucky
Yeah,
7.
I was like, why is there a lotto card there?
Yeah,
But it's
right?
not.
No.
Okay. And it does say energy.
Mm-hmm. It says
Interesting
energy, like
enough.
it promises energy.
Huh.
And then over here it says like natural, like dietary supplement.
Hmm.
So yeah.
So could they be taking this instead of like maybe drinking like a Red Bull, or is that kind of, I mean,
I think that's the intention,
hmm.
to kind of like fill that
Yeah,
appeal
I
to that
mean,
audience.
yeah, that's crazy though. Because yeah, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
So we were talking about deaths. There have been some in LA County, but I know you mentioned a different story.
Yeah.
Could you share that?
So there was a case, it was a young man named Daniel Berger.
Mm,
He was in his 30s and he had purchased 2 bottles of kratom extracts online, kind of like probably one of these.
mm,
And he took them, and there was a deadly interaction between the 7-OH and the active ingredient in Benadryl, which he was taking
mm,
for allergies.
mm,
And so he passed away from that.
mm,
And now his parents are advocates for like kratom safety and regulation.
mhm.
And so for the other parents out there, it's important to be aware of this
Right.
because it looks kind of harmless.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
really accessible, and we don't know like what's in these products. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm.
Um, oh, we do have a question. So it says, what guidance would you give to someone considering using kratom?
Mm.
Probably not. Don't use it.
Yeah. So I guess LA County is saying for now just to stay away from it because we
Mm,
don't know what's in it, honestly.
mhm.
There was a case in 2018 where kratom was coming in like underneath seaweed.
Oh.
And so it was like probably like festering in the seaweed water,
Uh-huh.
and bacteria started growing.
Oh no.
And there was this like huge salmonella outbreak.
Uh-huh.
So I guess for now, there are better alternatives out there just to use those instead
Mhm.
of kratom.
Mm. Okay, we do have another question in. I'm going to read it in Korean, but I'll translate it for you. 그럼 저 약물들을 그냥 쉽게 구할 수 있는 건가요? So they're asking, so does that mean we can easily purchase drugs? I think,
Easily purchased drugs like in general?
well, I'm assuming because I think the question in, I don't know if they mean in general drugs, but we're saying for this product specifically, yes, it's easily available, but it's not. I guess it's not labeled a drug yet, right? I mean, it's
Mhm.
illegal. You said in California,
Mhm.
but federally, it's not illegal. So it's like a very gray
Gray.
area, right?
Mhm.
So yes, I don't know. Yes.
I guess it's like it's easy to access
Uh huh.
for now,
Right.
but the county is like cracking down on it.
Mm, yeah. So again, always being vigilant about what you're buying, what are your kids buying, what are the ingredients in it is, I think, what you want to keep on top of. Just because even if it's not labeled a drug, you just don't know how it's going to interact with anything else that you may be taking.
Mhm.
So yeah, just be careful.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think maybe that first question on someone considering using kratom, I think it's the reason, maybe the reason why they're taking this specific product. And I know you talked a lot about anxiety associated with the usage of kratom. So,
Mhm.
like, do you think that's like maybe one of the main reasons people are using it, or is it just an energy supplement, or what do you think it is?
So anxiety is definitely a big reason that we're seeing the younger generation use it. For anxiety to like manage chronic pain. We're also seeing kratom is used in populations where maybe they're like kind of weaning off of like opioid use,
Mm,
and that's kind of like an alternative that they're using.
hmm.
So yeah, but the younger generation I think does tend to use it for anxiety treatment.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so crazy to think that 12-year-olds are dealing with anxiety, which is sad in
Mm.
itself, but So then what about what do you think are some early signs of anxiety that people should be looking out for?
Yeah, so for this question, I did ask our
Yeah,
deputy director.
she's not a therapist, so.
I did ask Jennifer, and she said a lot of times people like label anxiety as like, oh, I'm just like tired or I'm just stressed.
Mm,
Sometimes maybe it's like fear of the unknown.
mhm.
So those can kind of be the warning signs of that, and just maybe talking to, you know, the person that you think might be having some anxiety, and then,
Mhm.
then you're able to like get them the treatment that they need.
Yeah, and, I would say, try and utilize other avenues of, approaching the anxiety rather than going to,
Like a drug or
yeah,
yeah.
like a natural supplement or
Mhm.
whatever. And if you look on our YouTube channel, we have a lot of resources dealing with stress, anxiety. I would try that first before going to this. I know this is like it seems like an easy fix, but you just don't know.
Mm.
Um and I don't believe in easy fixes
No, true.
either.
There's
So
always a price to pay.
yeah, I think so. And
Yeah.
especially when, it's like dealing with kids who are still like their bodies are still developing
Mm.
and you just don't know what this type of product is going to do to them. It's
No.
just so hard to tell.
Yeah.
I mean, even in adults too, really. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so then let's talk about what could be some warning signs that people should look out for if they suspect someone is using.
Mm. I guess noticing any like patterns that are out of the ordinary, any like behavioral changes,
Hmm.
you can kind of like pull them aside to a private space and have a conversation with them.
Mm-hmm.
We do have some resources to share. There is the LA County helpline. It's called SASH. And then we called them. They do work, they do pick up. They have lots of languages available. So the operators can speak English,
Mm.
Korean if you press 5. Also, SAMHSA has a national helpline if you're not in LA County. They also have a website. I think it's called findhelp.gov. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll actually share some of that information in our chat if you need it for future reference. Okay, so then where can people get more information about Kratom specifically?
Mm. So for Kratom, the LA County SAPC SAPC website
Mm-hmm.
has a page on Kratom and 7-OH,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll post like the most updated information.
Mm-hmm.
The NIH website also has a great series with Dr. Christopher McCurdy, I believe, from the University of Florida. That one was really good. It talks about like the history of Kratom and
Mm.
current uses, what pros and cons, and where we're headed with Kratom. So that's good to check out too.
Mm. Okay.
Hmm.
And I believe you have a demonstration for us.
Yeah.
So what is this?
Okay, so we brought naloxone today.
And what do people use that for?
Yeah, so if you suspect that they're experiencing an opioid overdose or an
Mm.
overdose from like kratom usage too,
Mm-hmm.
you can use naloxone and it will reverse the effects of the opioid overdose. So it like
Interesting.
kicks off the opioid molecules from the receptors and then binds to those.
Mm. So what are like are there kind of signs that tell you that someone could be in trouble or like how do you know? You just don't start spraying people.
So if they're unresponsive or unconscious,
Oh, okay.
you can do like a sternum rub,
Uh-huh.
and that like introduces a pain stimulus, and that should wake them up. If they don't wake up and you see like blue lips, if they
Uh-huh.
have like a slowed breathing rate,
Uh-huh.
those are kind of signs
Oh,
of
I see.
overdose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does this work?
So the first thing you want to do if you suspect someone is overdosing is to call 911.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be kind of intimidating.
Right.
So I would just say something like, "Oh, someone here is unresponsive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at this location at this cross street."
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll guide you from there.
Okay.
And then you want to get the person into like a comfortable position, like they can be seated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it looks like this. You can have one.
Okay.
There's two. So there's two in the box. And for this is a standard dose for adults.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you use a different dosage for kids?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't.
do they have these separately then?
I don't think they just generally have this one that they give out.
Oh, okay.
But honestly, if you suspect someone is overdosing, it's better to just use it than
Oh,
not.
okay.
It doesn't
Not
harm.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, so then you peel it. There's like a little
Mm-hmm.
lip here.
Okay. I'm gonna
You,
go with you.
yeah, you peel it open.
Mm-hmm.
There's instructions and information here.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like this. And you want to apply it intranasally, so up the nostril.
Okay.
So you hold it 2 fingers on top,
Uh-huh.
and then your thumb over the plunger.
Oh, okay.
And then you want to stick it up their nose
Uh-huh.
so that your fingers like touch their nostril, and then you inject it.
Oh, okay.
You
I
can
mean,
kind of
that
like
seems simple
support their
enough.
neck. Yeah. You can kind of like support their neck and
Mm-hmm.
like open their airways.
Is it pretty instant or?
So you should see the effects of this in 2 to 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
If they're still unresponsive, you can administer the second dose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And then where can people get this if they need it?
Good question. So we at KFAM, we have a lot of Naloxone. So if you're interested, you can email us or give us a
Mm-hmm.
call and then come and we'll give you a demonstration and some Naloxone.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna put our SAPC's email address in the chat room as well. We do have another question. 저건 어디서 구할 수 있나요? 혹시나 해서 갖고 있음 좋을 것 같아. Yeah. So she was just asking where can they get it. It seems like a good product to have just in case. 네.
Yeah.
Yes. 제가 지금 좀 있으면 이메일 올릴 거거든요. 거기를 이메일 하시면 알려드릴 거예요. So yeah, and again, it's not because you think someone is using, it's just something to keep around in case something were to happen. I think also teaching your kids maybe how to use it in case maybe at school something happens or if they're with a group of friends something happens. I think it's just something good to have around and just making sure they understand the usage and what to do if something like that were to happen. I think is always good.
Yeah, I think we see a lot of on college campuses. There's a lot of like opioid overdoses.
Yeah.
And it's so compact, like you can literally put it in
Right.
your purse.
Yeah.
So
That's a good
it's nice to
point.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I had a point. I lost it. I lost it.
A good point.
Yeah, it was I bet you it was a really good point. But yeah, so yeah.
Compact, easy to put in your purse, good
Yeah.
to have for emergencies.
Yeah. So contact us if you are interested in like maybe just you're not sure or maybe you even want us SAPC team to go and demonstrate.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. They'll demonstrate, and again, all this to say is that kratom is technically an opioid.
It is. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Stay away from it.
does this what is this similar to what we were giving people for fentanyl? No, right?
Yeah,
Oh, it is, right?
exactly.
Yeah, okay. Is
So,
fentanyl an opioid?
yeah, it is an opioid.
Okay.
So yeah, you can use it for morphine, heroin,
Oh.
fentanyl,
Oh.
all of
Oh,
kratom.
wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so I think it's just always good to teach kids about the dangers of certain products. And then also on the flip side, how can you help people if they feel like someone is in danger? And that's what we're always trying to do is prevention. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope you learned a lot. We actually went through this really
I know,
faster than I thought we were gonna. So what's going on with SAPSI? I heard you guys went to the UCLA open house yesterday, or UCLA community.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that for?
So we were giving away Naloxone, and also promoting our life skills program. So if anyone is interested in having us come and do these workshops, we would love to come out.
Yeah.
We did that. We also went to another high school nearby
Okay.
to their like parent-teacher conferences this week.
Yeah.
And we gave out Naloxone
Yeah.
too.
We do have another question. They asked, does naloxone work for fentanyl overdoses as well? Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So
Good question.
yeah. Okay. I mean, we like went through everything so fast. Okay. So
Yeah.
the next live stream is going to be on April 10th. And actually, Sarah's going to be joining us again. We're going to be talking with our Gen Z staffers. I'm going to delve into the mind of the Gen Zers. So yeah, I hope you will join us again then. Again, if you enjoyed this or you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and then we'll just say bye for now. Super awkward. Okay, so we'll say bye. 1, 2, 3. Bye from KFAM.